Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So before we get into this video, I do want to give a big thank you to Joe of the Fire who sent me over this on my car tuning section on my Discord server. So massive thank you to him before we get into it for providing everything that I needed for the build. So this is the Volkswagen Beetle with the Porsche engine swap, and it's good for around 5.1 to 5.3 million credits per hour. It's absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to head straight into the video and get into buying the car, setting it up and all that good stuff. So as you can see, there is currently a Volkswagen 1200 from 1966 in the used car dealer for 31,900 credits. So just ensure that you've got one of them, and then we'll move into the modifications that you're going to require for this vehicle. So this is the reason I recommend getting a brand new one, mainly because a lot of people have done the wide body to it, even with the engine swap. So we're not going to touch the wide body on this vehicle. However, we are going to put the M64 911 engine in for 226,500 credits. So go ahead, slap that in the vehicle, and then you are pretty much good to go after a few aero mods. Not too much in terms of tires or anything like that with this build, which is nice and easy. So you want to ensure that you've got the standard wheels on. Do not change anything once again. So keep them standard size, standard width and standard offset. Do not touch a single thing. Now in terms of the aero modifications, what you need to do is have the front at type A, the rear once again at type A, and then onto the rear wing we're going to run it at type B, which is a big sort of bulky one. It looks a little bit ridiculous, but that is all you need in terms of aero mods, body and engine swaps. So obviously we've got the engine swap installed. Then we're going to have the racing hards at the front and racing softs at the rear. Fully customizable suspension. Body height is 95 for both. Anti-roll bar is also going to be 10 for both. Compression is 40 for both. Expansion 50 for both, and then on to the natural frequency, which is going to be 3.00 for both. Camber angle 0 for both. Toe angle once again 0 for both. Fully customizable diff, set all three of these to 60, so torque, acceleration and braking. We have nitrous installed, set this to an output of 100, and then on to the fully customizable racing transmission, 130, and then we'll move into the final drive first, which is going to be set to 3.862, and then on to first gear, which is going to be 1.824-149. Second gear, you want to have that at 1.327-205. Third, 0.909-300. Fourth, 0.711-383, and then finally fifth, which is 0.611-458. It may take some adjusting to get them quite right. Fully customizable ECU, no power output reduction here. You want the rear downforce set to 90, obviously no front downforce to be adjusting here, and then on to the parts that you need. So racing air cleaner, and then next up just down below you'll need the racing silencer as well as the racing exhaust manifold. Racing brake system is going to be the slotted discs. Racing pads, handbrake, leave as normal, same with the brake balance, you won't need to be messing around with those. Then the racing clutch and flywheel, and then onto the perma mods, bore up, stroke up S, engine balance tuning, polished ports, high lift camshaft S, titanium connecting rods and pistons, racing crankshaft, high compression pistons, and weight reduction stage 1, 2 and 3. Do not touch the body rigidity, leave that as standard. Now obviously we'll also need the Tomahawk X, however this hasn't changed since the previous build, so if you've seen that, go into the settings or skip a little bit forward into the settings section, as that has changed. Obviously it's going to be a much shorter event and it does allow us to get more money over the single hour. So you will need to be picking one of these up for 1 million credits, and then obviously we'll go ahead and tune it. Okay, so we're going to move into the Tomahawk tune. Now again, this hasn't changed from previous, so the only thing you actually need to change on this vehicle is going to be the fully customizable racing transmission. Once you've got that, set it to 500, and here's the gear ratios that you'll need. Your final is going to be 5.130, and then we're going to move into the individual gears. So first is 4.799-82, second 4.797-82, 4.796-82, 4.795-82, 4.794-82, 4.290-92 for the 6th, and then on to the 7th, which is going to be 2.001-205. Again, this hasn't changed, however, this part has in terms of the event settings. So head to Daytona in Americas, custom race on the tri-oval, and then we're just going to quickly load these settings up, and I'm going to show you exactly how to run it. So it has changed a little bit, so take your laps from what they're probably set to is around about 24 to 25, take them down to 9 laps, and then ensure that all of your settings match the below list. So a number of cars is going to be 20. Put yourself in P20, obviously, so that you are last on the grid and fully starting at the back, meaning that you will be overtaking all the cars, but because you're so quick, you'll be able to get this done by the end of turn 1, which is the big banked loop left-hander. In terms of your tyre wear, don't worry about anything like that. The only main change here, or the main thing that you will need to be changing, is the nitrous and overtaking system usage time multiplier. Set that to 10 times and ensure that that is set up to the maximum on the right hand side. In terms of the weather, once again, you don't need to worry about that. However, you will need to ensure that you've got your rivals selected from garage. Now, once you've done that, ensure that the Tomahawk is in every single slot apart from yourself in P20. And obviously this time around we'll be running the Volkswagen Beetle. Set them to professional difficulty and your payout should be 357,200 credits. Now I'll give you a quick little guide and a few tips for driving this vehicle because it is rather quite awkward. Now I'm sure it's pretty much an AFK vehicle if you really want it to be. However, the fastest way is to run it yourself, allowing you to get 5.1 to 5.3 million credits per hour. Now, because we're on the standard skinny little tyres of the Volkswagen Beetle, it may feel very awkward. However, you'll realise quite quickly that on the bankings, as long as you're down low, this car will pretty much turn over the banking itself with very little steering input. Just be aware that when you launch out and off of the banking to go into the main straights, that it may try and carry itself towards the barrier, but you won't lose the clean race bonus. The only way to lose that is by actually hitting one of the Tomahawks. As you can see here, I got very close to ending up in the back of one, so just be aware of them. But luckily, because we're not doing too many laps, the overall risk really isn't too bad if we do end up in the back of one by accident. So we're going to complete the event here in around about 5 minutes 45 seconds. So very quick to complete 9 laps. And then for the first place, we're going to be taking said payout from before, obviously with a 50% clean race bonus on top, which is going to push us to over 500,000 credits in 5 minutes 45 seconds. Again, if you don't get caught behind the Tomahawks, you can do this much quicker. We already lapped them twice here. On average, our lap times were in around about the 37s or high 37s. As you can see, our fastest was a 37.609, which was set on lap 3. So very good 1 lap potential. We're running as few laps as possible to maximize the amount of credits and reduce the overall risk as well, especially since I was driving this one myself. Again, you can probably AFK it if you really want to. So there you go, that is the overall time and the overall laps in terms of the event itself. So let's move in to obviously the payout, because this is what you all want to know. 535,800 credits in those 9 laps. Obviously you can pretty much retry the event instantly within seconds. So let's say you are doing this every 6 minutes, you're looking at 5.1 to 5.3 million credits per hour. So thank you so much to Joe of the Fire who sent over this build on my Discord. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. You know, I'd heard kind of rumors that the Beetle and the Samba Bus were very good, but I did not expect them to be this good. So yes, it is possible to even earn over 4.5 million credits, which is what the Abarth gives pretty much, and earn upwards of 5 million plus credits per hour, which is just absolutely insane. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.